Cup 2012. The scores are tied at 38 apiece. After the tension and excitement of round 1, things settled down a little bit in round 2, but now it's our last look at Cube, at least the Cube we normally know, as we head in to the end of day 1 here.
I am going to be keeping an eye on the Jesse Smith versus Max McCall match here. I think that should be a pretty good one, and we'll bring you some updates from that as they come in as well.
Okay. So, ability from Ancestral Vision, and you're thinking, well, where was that Ancestral Vision? Answer, over here on the right of your screen in the Exiled Zone for Laux. There you are. Ancestral Vision began at Suspend 4, ticks down to 3.
Really an ideal turn 1 play for John Laux. And it also is followed up here by a Thoughtseize, which is also an ideal turn 1 play. When your opponent plays a tapped land, it's essentially the same thing. So John's going to get a chance to see.
Well,
right now it's on the stack, however.
Okay. So shortly we'll get to see what's available up there. Although it says that John's looking at Wizard John's hand.
So John is right now making a decision, and he does, in fact,
got rid of a Stoneforge Mystic.
A Stoneforge Mystic. Now, I'm curious because this is now information which is known to John Laux, that I kind of want to take a look at John Hickey's hand and see what he's working with here.
Going to add a Skull Clamp to the board from Laux. And John Hickey will not have a turn 2 play of the Stoneforge Mystic. And John Hickey says, with a feature match, fight. And so instead of Stoneforge Mystic, it's going to be Fencing Ace, the 1/1 double
Fencing
strike.
Ace, and the other cards that he has in his hand are Imperial Seal, Skin Render, and an Island.
Okay. Ancestral Vision will tick down to 2.
Oh, no, that was actually John Laux's hand I just talked about. It turns out there's 2 Johns playing in the feature area.
Okay.
Let's back that one up.
And here is Imperial Seal from John Laux. He's that guy you know. You just talked to him.
I don't hardly know him at all.
Okay.
I just pretend to on the internet.
So he gets to
he
gets to go look for a card from his library.
All right, so
shuffles your library, put that card on top of it. So you lose 2 lives. It doesn't go straight to hand.
So Wizards John has a Fiend Hunter, a Spectral Procession, a Silver Knight, and 2 lands in hand.
Okay.
This matchup looks very unfavorable for the Wizards side.
You reckon? Why?
Because he's playing pretty fair cards that are just kind of creatures, and John's deck does much more powerful things, and it also does it much quicker. Well, not quicker, actually. He's going to be behind a turn or 2 here, but he's going to be able to do it on time and finish up.
Somebody's very excited about the community still being level. Don't know how much you're hearing on your R-Effects mic, but I can tell you...
I think that was Conley, actually.
No, actually, that's the kids at the nursery when they got to meet Conley Woods.
Oh, yeah, right.
That's pretty much... Hey, look, it's Conley, everyone.
All right,
Recurring
Nightmare. But that's just going to be played for no value here. He doesn't have a creature to sacrifice yet. But he'll be working on that.
Now, you see, you say he's going to get murderized, but John's sitting here with 5 damage on the table, with John Laux at 14, about to become 9. There's a Fiend Hunter waiting in the wings from Hickey for anything that John makes. Soltari Champion now comes down.
Now, John has 2 cards in hand, but this Ancestral Vision is about to come off of
fruition.
That's right. And so all of a sudden, John's going to get to untap with just tons of cards. But you're right, he's under a ton of
cards,
pressure
not
here.
Time. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So let's clear away that Exile Zone for you.
That Soltari Champion is a huge issue. Damnation,
Bang!
however, for John Laux.
Oh, you see, now, and as John Hickey made the Soltari Champion, I thought, don't you feel you've got enough pressure on? He's on a 2-turn clock anyway.
Yeah.
And then...
a little bit of an overextension.
Sweep them up. So Silver Knight is up next. He'd quite like that to be a White Knight, to be fair, in a perfect world. This one, protection from red, will not be doing much, really. Mother of Runes, it's decent because that functionally can turn the Silver Knight into a White Knight if he needs to. But both, of course, have Summoning Sickness. So Lauk's looking to stabilize. Down at 9. Hickey, though, only with 1 card left in hand. Laux has 5, and that's not least because of this Ancestral Vision. He now casts Skin Render, and that is utterly brutal. Because that
kill
is
mom, as they say.
2 for none.
Whoop!
And, yeah, just... Oof.
Yeah, nickname for that card is Mom, and
yeah, beating.
she's gone.
Honor of the Pure, okay. So the Silver Knight's back up to 3/3, can battle with Skin Render.
Okay.
It's okay. I mean, I'm not sure whether... yeah, and he's going to do that.
You got to wonder if John's got another creature in his hand, if he doesn't just block here and then use Recurring Nightmare to get his Skin Render back.
Well,
let's see what John has in mind here.
2 mana. 3 mana, Vendilion Click.
Yeah, I think we're going to see the Skin Render back here.
Sure.
Can you do Recurring Nightmare whenever you want? Sorcery speed.
Someone is about to be Les Miserables because it's John Battle John.
Is that a musical joke I just heard?
I think it's an attempt at one, yes.
Okay, I don't get it. It looks like Skull Clamp. So John has 2 options. John Laux has 2 options. He can Skull Clamp the Vendilion Click to get a bunch of cards but take some more damage. Or he can just kiss the Vendilion Click goodbye, and looks like that's what he's going to do. Drop the Skin Render, take out the Silver Knight, and then follow up with a Skull Clamp on the Skin Render, most likely. Yeah, John seems to be in a pretty good. John Laux seems to be in a pretty good position here. I keep forgetting that there can only be 1.
Okay, I've started a new page in the notebook. Joke topics to avoid with Marshall. Musical, South African Archbishop. Yeah, fine. See how deep the page gets by Friday lunchtime.
Can I write things in that book?
Sure. I mean, that would be helpful. Then I can avoid them before. The only thing is, if you write down
so I don't just
everything.
leave you hanging with a. I don't understand. Look, I'm honest with you, Rich.
I know, and I really appreciate that honesty, Marshall.
Because I like the jokes when I get them.
Oh, bless.
Honestly.
BDM's like beating his head on a pillow right now, going, I can't believe you said that. Fiend Hunter arrives. Skin Render leaves.
Yeah, now that's an interesting play because if John Hickey wants to put any more creatures on the battlefield, he risks having his Fiend Hunter killed and then the Skin Render coming back and getting another, which would be its 3rd activation of the game here. So it's a bit of a risky play.
That said, 1 card, you see it up there, only 1. John Laux down here, 6. So you're almost at the point where you say, hey, what a shame those 6 cards are all terrible and land. I'll put a 2/4 into play. Yeah. I'll start trying to beat you. I'll make something else.
So that plan seems reasonable, except for that John didn't play a land last turn, so he essentially has 6 spells in his hand. That's not good news if you're sitting on John Hickey's
not
side.
super, is it?
No.
Maybe they all cost 7 or more.
Yeah. Now I want to get a quick update on the Max McCall versus Smitty thing, Smitty match. There has been a terminus, and after a whole lot of stuff has happened, they're both at 0 permanence, with Max following up with a Shadow Mage Infiltrator. So they're at 16 and 20 life respectively, and they are still figuring it out.
Billy Moreno is 1-0 down already. Extraordinary.
You're a funny guy. You amuse me.
Thank you. Good job for me. Somebody appreciates it. I can tell you, by the way, boys and girls, deck lists and the draft viewers, oh yes.
Oh, that's great.
Are posted so you can check them out, see what everyone did, see what they all did right, and occasionally see what they did wrong.
Now, do we have draft viewers for both or just one? Both of them.
Count them. Two
fantastic.
Draft viewers.
You know, I was just chatting with John here in the booth about how his draft went, and we had a couple of questions, and people are going to get to know the answers to those questions now.
While working it all through.
Yeah. By the way, the play that we were dreading for John Hickey's side looks like it's just happened. There's been an Into the Royal, and he has pumped up his Mirror Entity. Unfortunately, Skin Render's a really, really good card. and it actually adds counters. It's not a temporary ability.
Not until EOT.
Yeah.
EOT, by the way, again, if you're new, sorry about that jargon, end of turn, EOT. So now Skin Render will come in, and you've got to feel John Laux is now in complete control.
He also has
of this
something
one.
for 5 mana that he'd like to cast, because otherwise he would have equipped the Skull Clamp to get in for an extra damage. He does know, though, that the Skin Render is going to get, most likely, Fiend Huntered back, because it was only bounced.
Sure. So Compulsive Research.
Yeah, it seems like a reasonable Magic card.
Up next.
That's a great card. You know, I wasn't playing in the old Ravnica block, and getting a chance to play this card in the cube has given me a large amount of respect for it. I really appreciate that. That card is just sweet. And the Recurring Nightmare is what John wanted to replay, and he does. So he looks like he's going to sack and get Vendilion Click back right now. Oh, he had a Consecrated Sphinx. Oh, he just pitched it.
Yeah.
Oh, man. So he discarded it to the Compulsive Research, and
now I can draw 2
I'll
cards.
draw 100 cards. So this is actually just a clinic at this point. Like,
Okay.
John Laux is really putting it on. You want to head back over? You want to head over to the Smitty
I would
versus
love
Max
to take a
McCollum?
look at what's going on your monitor, Marshall. Here we are on your screen now.
Now, things are a little bit sparse, because you
Yeah.
can see there's a few things in the graveyard here, but on the board, we have 2 key permanents. You mentioned him earlier. John Finkel's invitational card, Shadow Mage Infiltrator, but Jace, Architect of Thought, the new guy on the block, is here, and he is holding the Shadow Mage Infiltrator at bay, because he just keeps plussing Jace, as we say. And here it is, one of the key cards in the cube, and one of Max McCall's favorite cards ever. I have an interesting story about this that I'll tell you in a minute, Rich, because Upheaval!
Upheaval.
So at Upheaval, this innocuous-looking spell says, return all permanents to their owner's hands, but it does it to both of you. How could that possibly be good? Well, Max right now has 6 extra mana and probably a land drop in the hole here.
Oh,
so he could
wow.
he can have access to up to 7 mana here and be the first one to commit something to the board. There's the land.
Number 7. What are you doing with it?
So what are we going to see here? We could see a Mox Diamond as well, because if you look, Max now has 13 cards in his hand. It goes down to 12, and Smitty is sitting with 12 in his hand as well. It's going to go up to 13 on his draw step, and he's likely going to be able to play 1 land, and he's going to have to discard 5 cards. Upheaval, real fun card. So 3, 4, 5, 6 mana still available after the Mox Diamond, and here comes Shadow Mage Infiltrator. Now that's actually not that amazing here, because drawing the extra card, while still good, you know, he's gonna be at 8 cards on his draw step likely anyway. Basalt Monolith, though, is huge, because it just gets him so that when he gets to untap, he can just play anything from his deck, where Smitty's going to be sitting on 1 land. We might even see a concession here. One of the most powerful cards. Now, what I was going to say is, one day, I was at home, and I got a phone call from a couple of local players. We see Tradewind Rider also hit the battlefield. It's got a friend. It needs one more friend to just completely lock Smitty out of the game.
Yep.
Yeah, Max
This
plays
is gonna
real
be the
fun brand of Magic.
No permanent you. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Now, and I got a call to come down to Card Kingdom to do a draft. Sure, that sounds fun. And, and it happened to be with Max McCall, and he had a cube with him. Oh, okay, well,
Hey,
this is
sounds
Max's
good.
cube. We've played, and I was happily committing creatures to the board like an idiot, while Max sat there forever and then eventually upheavaled me. And I did not know. I'm like, can I read that? And he's like, sure, as the wry grin forms on his face. And I discard, 9 cards to it or something stupid.
Lovely.
And he does exactly what we see here on the screen and just annihilated me with it. So I got to learn how to use Upheaval from the man himself, Max McCall, as we see him use it masterfully here. Now, he's sitting at 8 cards in hand. He used his Basalt Monolith already, so he's really only got 3 mana open, but he's probably got infinite counter spells. We see Smitty is going to start to try to recover.
Can I have a Lotus Cobra, sir?
That's a good start, and it does resolve. Now, if we see Max play a creature on the next turn, though, we could probably expect some lands to get bounced, even just a Lotus Cobra.
Yeah. Well, you'd expect the Lotus Cobra to go, because obviously Smitty has lands available.
That is correct.
So,
but limiting to 2 for the rest of the game also limits what Smitty can do.
yeah.
All right, so 1, 2, 3. He did untap the monolith on Smitty's end step, so he's got access to just tons of mana here. 7.
I mean, Smitty's at 18.
And a Riftwing Cloudskate is going to bounce probably a land, followed up by a second land. All right, he went for the Lotus Cobra.
Yeah, sure. Because you do, because otherwise you're just, yeah, that just seems...
Jeez, here, have a land back. Max McCall, everybody.
Yep. Playing
not
fair.
Not known for being a fun guy.
So,
like, he will just smash you.
Yeah, it's worth remembering about Max that he is responsible for quite a lot of the encounter decks within Jewels of the Planeswalkers on your iPad and on your Xbox and so on. So, yeah, he quite likes the idea of a 1/1 flyer, Suntail Hawk, coming down, and then another, and another, and another, and just beating you with things like that. So, yeah, Max plays for keeps.
So the Dungeon Geist is going to be the clock, as Max is now going to tap the Riftwing Cloudskate. Oh, he didn't. I guess he's going to just would rather get in for 2. I thought he might want to draw a card. He's down to 5. Poor Max.
Oh. Yeah.
And the land's really going to get bounced. So basically, Smitty's going to have 3 mana to work with for the duration of this game. So he needs to find something relevant to do for 3 mana. Else he needs to find a fetch land to get up to more. But okay, well, it looks like he's got something for 3. A Tumble Magnet. That's not going to do much here.
Yeah, 3/3 flyer, 2/2 flyer, 1/3 fear, 1/4 flyer. Smitty at 16.
Now, Max is probably doing the math here. He does not have a 2-turn clock currently. All right, Wormcoil Engine does change that significantly.
Change the math a bit, yeah.
Now, the Tumble Magnet will actually be decent against Wormcoil Engine here. It will keep it at bay. All right, and Smitty uses it defensively on the Dungeon Guy so that he's only taking 2 damage this turn.
So, I mean, he's doing everything that one can after an upheaval that's totally awesome for your opponent. I mean...
That upheaval was completely devastating.
Yeah. As one would hope, really, for a card that costs 6 at sorcery speed in a blue deck.
I agree. Now, we have a similar card in Return to Ravnica called Cyclonic Rift, but it is considerably more fair. Does not bounce lands.
Yeah.
Which is really the critical thing.
And it costs 7. I mean, you get it at instant speed.
Or 2.
Yeah, which is why it's awesome.
Exactly.
Yeah.
All right, so which board state would you prefer?
I'll take the top one, please, Bob.
Yeah, correct.
Thank you. Really? I was using all my skill and judgment from many years of watching Magic. The top board state's the correct answer. Sower of Temptation.
Jeez,
can I have your Lotus?
On. How much more of this can Smitty take before conceding?
Please, Max. I beg you. Just hit him 16 times with Shadow Mage Infiltrator.
I guarantee that Max has just like the most evil grin on his face right now. He's
that would be
so happy.
So good. That would be.
He might just not even attack. You know, just to see how long Smitty can take this. Just keep bouncing his permanents.
Oh, that's just so great.
No, he's got lethal now, and Smitty is probably just going to pass a turn, and then it's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
And we're done.
Yep. All right.
Okay, Marshall, see what else is lurking around on our screens.
I will dig around and see what I can find here.
And so there you see the room once again, everyone in action. Max McCall is over on the far side, just underneath Dave Humphries, Pro Tour Hall of Famer, in the light blue shirt. And as you see diagonally across from Max, you see Jackie Lee sitting next to Conley Woods right now. Right in the far corner, you've got Tom LaPalli sitting down playing his match. On this side, in the red shirt, Neil Talbot, wrong way, go back. He is sitting between Heath Newton in the check shirt nearest us. Then there's James from Loading Ready Run and John Laux. And on the right, far right, you get the Wizards team for this set, which includes Worth Walpert, Jason Radaber, John Hickey, Billy Moreno, second one in. He's still playing. He lost his first match.
All right, so we're going to join back to our original match here.
Okay.
This is the John fight, the Highlander John fight. There can be only one John. And we see on the bottom part of the screen, John Laux has taken a pretty innovative approach here. What he's done is he has made a Knight of Infamy, and he has then copied it with Phantasmal Image because he realized that his opponent is playing a nearly mono-white deck. and especially because the creatures are white, and it looks like he's just racing him. He's using 1 to attack. That one is getting in for 4 damage, which is what the Knight of Infamies would do anyway, and the other one is staying back on blocking duty.
I just need to clarify something with you, Marshall.
Yes,
When
sir.
you say pretty innovative,
Mm-hmm.
is that pseudonym for and really awesome, or is that a pseudonym for and completely terrible?
Oh, I was for and really awesome.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
'Cause I would
John
sometime-
definitely has the ability to do really innovative and horrible things.
Okay.
But I think this is the correct play here. He boarded in the Knight of Infamy. He looks like he might be stuck on 3, or he's at 3 lands. And I mean, this is a clock that can actually race John's deck, John Hickey's deck.
Yep. Fencing
So-
Ace, Mirror Crusader,
Alright, now things have
Soltari
changed.
Champion.
The Soltari Champion is going to change this race in a huge, huge way. Because both of Hickey's cards have double strike here.
Yep.
And especially if he can use like a bounce spell or something to get one of the Knight of Infamies out of the way. Remember, the Soltari Champion has Shadow, so that guy's not going to get eaten by a Knight of Infamy. I don't know why the Mirror Crusaders tapped it this time. Did it get in for damage?
Looks like it did, because John's down at 16, so
Ah,
that
yeah.
represents 1 hit, doesn't it, with the Mirror
That's
Crusader?
strange, though. I don't know why that would happen. All right, Brainstorm. Interesting card in the cube.
Mm-hmm.
You wouldn't call it bad, but you certainly wouldn't call it as good as it can be. You need a lot of shuffle effects to make Brainstorm a truly great card.
Okay.
And in the cube, I think it's just a good card.
Right. So the fact that we see Brainstorm in lots of sort of high-level tournaments that you get 4 copies of Brainstorm, but not here. So it isn't as functionally just grinding through. It's like Ponder and Preordain with Brainstorm. It's all part of that
Yes.
mix that gives you such great card selection.
That's right.
And here, that's not really what you get to do.
No, because most of the time you just put the cards back and then just draw them. So if there were ones that you didn't want, then it's irrelevant. Rashad very gently pointed out to me how that Mirror Crusader was able to get into the red zone.
How it got past those black creatures?
Yeah.
Okay.
It
Was
has
it
protection from black.
Okay, it wasn't the protection from green that did
No,
it,
that
then.
wasn't it, and it wasn't the
Okay.
double strike either. So
Okay.
thanks for Rashad for being the one who's paying attention here, since I just completely
Have you been
blanked.
busy lately? Were you like at GP San Jose and then a Pro Tour
Yeah.
and now the Community Cup? Is that how it's been for
Yeah,
you?
wait till I'm doing coverage at Grand Prix Philadelphia here this weekend.
You
It
robbed
might be
that
a
one
comedy
too.
fest. We'll see. Now, John is still currently tanking right now about what to do with his Brainstorm, and I would put down my microphone and go slap him to play faster, but he actually might be helping another player right now. John tends to play pretty quickly, so when you have a decision like this, he's either being helped or he might be...
He's probably AFK, as we say,
Can we see?
away from keyboard.
Maybe we can look and
Show
see
us
if
the
John's
room.
there
See whether
or if
he's even in his
or
chair.
if he's deep in thought. He is there, and it looks like he's... It actually looks like he's just frozen. Did he stop
It's
working?
not his computer that
He
froze.
oh, there he
it's
is.
John Laux
He's
that
still
froze.
alive.
Oh, that's a relief.
All right, and he's also made his play. I think he might have just gotten back. All right, so he's going to attack with the double Knight of Infamy here. With the double triggers from the Knight of Infamy. I mean, he's going to take 4, which is the same thing as if he had attacked with both, and he's going to pass the turn back. This is not a great spot for John. He needs
Laux.
for John Laux, excuse me. You know, his skin render doesn't do anything here.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. Ugh.
Here we go.
This is a big hit, representing, what, 8 damage here?
Yep.
Which is exactly half of John Laux's life total. He's on a 1-turn clock
There you
here.
go. Down to 8.
It looks like Hickey might be...
Sword of War and Peace. Protection from red and from white.
so that doesn't...
Mana leak. So that's hard counter, as we discussed when we were drafting with John.
Indeed.
So that will go away. More importantly, shortly, so will John Laux, unless he does something very good very quickly.
Yeah, absolutely.
The protection from white might as well pile in for a bit of red-hot exalted action.
Now,
so
I think that we might be seeing a damnation here, because John just swung his guy in there, and if he doesn't have anything, I think he knows that his opponent's going to block. He also is the type of player that will make his opponent make that play, though. 2, 3, 4. Damnation, indeed. So the big board wipe takes out 2 of John's creatures. Wow, look at John. He instantly puts Imperial Seal on the stack as well.
Uh-huh.
It's going to lose him 2 life, put him down to 6, getting to a rather precarious life total, but he's also going to get any card he needs on his next draw step.
Yeah, but what's that going to be, I wonder?
That is a good question.
Because he's not quite at the point where mana isn't a concern.
No. So if he has another land in hand, it could be Consecrated Sphinx. That's always a possibility.
So,
But he also could be looking for something to stay alive longer. I think the longer the game goes, the more it benefits John quite a bit.
so Wizards John will spend all for hello, Cloud Goat Ranger plus chums, as we like to say.
Plus
3 of the
chums?
Kithkin. Yeah.
All
I
right.
love that card. Lorwyn's just about one of my favorite sets of all time.
Oh, is it really?
Absolutely adore it. Yeah, because I like drafting little white guys occasionally, and just being able to pick Wiz and Sen and all those little.
Okay, so you open
Kithkin.
up a pack and it's got this guy, Cloud Goat Ranger, and it has Mirror Entity in it. What do you take?
Yes, I'm a sucker for the Cloud Goat Ranger. I just love this guy.
Well, one of the local guys, in fact, John used to live with him. His name was Brian Wong. If you remember, he top-8'd Grand Prix Vancouver when we were doing coverage of that. You and I did coverage of that. Remember, you filled in for Steve Sadin when he fell ill?
I do remember
Yeah,
that. Yeah,
and,
I was just there shopping that weekend.
Yeah, right.
You know.
It just happened to be in town.
Yeah.
And he thinks that Cloud Goat Ranger might just be the pick as well. So
I just like it. What can I say?
card,
Psychotog.
too.
We talked about Billy Moreno earlier.
Mhm.
Psychotog, of course, is the card that essentially won Antoine Ruel that Pro Tour when he beat Billy Moreno in the final. That was a
Now, did
Psychotog,
that have
deck.
upheaval in it as well? Or?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. I know that those two cards were paired in
Memory
the past,
serves.
although I wasn't playing at the time. So
Okay, for those for those people who don't know the word synergy, this card, Honor of the Pure, makes white creatures bigger.
this is actually an interesting decision.
That's
for
quite good
Hickey
if
here.
you've got one creature, but even better when you've got lots of
Sure,
creatures.
but look at the situation here.
synergy.
Block. I guess he just attacks with everything. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Just attack with everything. I was thinking he could send the Cloud Goat Ranger to the skies, and that would also be lethal, but that just opens him up to like getting Doombladed or something. If he attacks with
It'll be a
everything,
6/4 and flying.
and that's lethal because John
Yep.
Laux is sitting at 6.
Sounds like James from Loading Ready Run is in trouble. I can see an Inferno Titan and a Consecrated Sphinx in play for
He,
Shea
in
Hall.
fact, just lost.
Yeah, okay, that
game.
makes-
I was keeping an eye on that
Sure.
one on the side, Rich. So I'll bump over to a different one. Let's see how Smitty's faring. I'm gonna give you an update on how Smitty's faring versus the ruthless Max McCall.
Okay, so we see Wizards John come in. John Hickey attacking with everything in sight. There's 10 damage there currently. The Psychotog will get in the way of Cloud Goat Ranger, but John must have an answer right here, right now. Otherwise, it's Game Boys. So, John, anything before damage? Because if that flicks, he has got something. Into the Royal. There we go. He's going to stay in it. And now what?
So is he
he
going to
gonna-
be able to kill this Cloud Goat Ranger? And it looks like
Yeah,
he's
here
gonna
we
stay-
go. Exile 2 cards from graveyard. We've got plenty more where those came from. 2 more will take it to 4/5. That'll kill the Cloud Goat Ranger. His Psychotog will live. He's got 1 card in hand, so he's not
He
going to be able
has
to kill.
stabilized here.
Well, kind of. I mean, he's still in a world of trouble.
Oh, he has not stabilized here. No,
No,
'cause
I
he's
mean,
at 2.
you know,
I'm sorry.
And now here comes Loyal Cathar as well,
So John needs.
as we saw in Hat Draft.
There
Very
he
good.
is. Still has his hat on when he comes back too. Now that's
Yep.
loyal hatting right there. All right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. What can it be for John? This is only 4 mana. 5. Consecrated
Consecrated
Sphinx is not going to get it done
Sphinx.
though.
No, because he's. I mean, that just.
Unless,
up
what
the
if he
game.
has Slaughter Pact?
Oh, okay.
He gets
And he gets to
draw
draw
steps at it.
well, and he gets 2 there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh wow, 2 cards in hand. Can Laux survive with no mana, courtesy of Slaughter Pact?
Well, you know what? I think if you're on John Hickey's side, you're just like, yeah, you know what? Let's find out. And he's going to do just that and just send all those guys into the red zone here.
In we go. John goes block, block. Is it game? Is it game? Ability to discard. No, that's it. Okay,
okay,
there we go. So John Hickey takes that one. And so we'll see what else is still going on here in the final round of Cube Draft right now. And already on your screen, you see some flying action. What do we got there, Marshall?
This is game 3 of Max McCall versus Smitty Jesse Smith.
Okay.
Remember, we watched game 1 where Max McCall ruthlessly upheavaled and then proceeded to just play devastating play after devastating play against Smitty. He finally was able to get the win there. Smitty must have gotten a pretty quick comeback game there as now we are sitting in game 3 and Smitty is attacking with Asperia, which also, yeah, it gets in there for damage.
So Max falls to 14.
Smitty taps his mana and then untaps them all. He told me in the lobby yesterday that he feels like he plays too quickly sometimes.
Okay.
You know, which is the thing. It happens. Now, Garrick Primal Hunter is going to get dismissed. That's a must dismiss. Oh, and the gate comes back. Does he have it? He does not. We're a lot of times we're just going to see Garrick die here. Oh, that's a little greedy. Maybe not. So, I don't know. I have to think this play through. I haven't really thought it through. But Garrick Primal Hunter is going to make a beast. If Smitty wanted, he could just -3 Garrick and draw 6 cards, which is something that you want to do a lot of the times. Although versus blue-black, with only 1 creature on hand, Garrick Primal Hunter is a huge problem.
Sure.
I think I might actually agree with this play now that I put a little bit of thought into it. Because blue-black is going to have just a terrible time dealing with Garrick.
So here's a Vesuvian Shapeshifter, which is going to copy Asperia. Asperia, as you can see, is legendary, so there will never be 2 in play. So away they both go. With a failure to agree on reality, as we used to say.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, Jesse gets to draw his card for a turn, putting him at 3 cards, and he still has an active Garrick, although he's going to get 2 more beasts out of it before Garrick's dead. You know, it's a tough decision on whether you would rather have had just a grip of 6 here or whether you want an active Garrick. An active Garrick's really, really good versus blue-black, and remember, his ability to make a 3/3 beast is plus. So he's going to go up to 3 here. He's going to take a hit from Muldrifter, and then he's going to go up 1 more to make the last beast token before Muldrifter finishes him off. But, you know, ooh, Simic Sky Swallower is coming down as well. And Max is sitting there with just 2 mana.
And that is huge. Flying, Trample, Shroud.
Resolves, make a beast. And Smitty is asserting his will here. Now, he's got to be careful. Upheaval.
Yeah.
Now,
lots of token action, lots of ICOS 7 action.
Yes. Now, Smitty did have to use his negate in that fight. All right, so ultimate price is paid by a beast. You know, you might as well use it on something. Right
that
now
implies
it's a 2-turn
that upheaval is not there right now, because otherwise why do you waste ultimate price on a beast?
That is a great point, Rich.
So
yeah,
that Max is looking. Max doesn't have it right now.
Yeah. You have a visual on Rules Manager Matt Tabak.
Yes,
one
yes.
half of Team Setback.
I know you're right. If you let Asperia see her reflection in a mirror gallery, then there can be 2 Asperia in play. Oh, God. Yes.
I'm going to let you handle that one.
In general terms, legendary permanents mean there can only be 1. Mere Battlesphere comes down for Max, so that's his alternate plan to try and stabilize and get himself back in this one. He's on 14, but there is a 6/6 Flying Trample and Shroud, Simic Sky Swallower.
I think that we are going to see Garrick now draw 6 cards. The reason I think that is because Garrick could just die next turn if Max wills it so.
This is a card that saw very little play, actually, the Sky Swallow, because there wasn't really a block-constructed PTQ format that year. And if memory serves, that the PT, which may or may not have been Prague, I'm going to say, the Simic Sky Swallower was part of there was a team event with Unified constructed. So basically only 1 deck, you know, there were relatively few decks explored in that format. It was a block format that really didn't
That's
see a
interesting.
lot of play.
It seems like an
Pretty sure that's right.
exceptionally good block card.
Yeah, it
And
was mental. Yeah.
Yeah, and I know that there are a few on the at least primary lists from either one of the teams. I'm not going to say which one. I don't know if they're going to make the final, but it's certainly being looked at for this event as well. All right, so he does in fact -3 Garrick. That does kill him, but it leaves Smitty sitting at 9 cards with 8 mana in play, and a Simic Sky Swallower and a Beast as well. So I think he's just going to battle with the Sky Swallower.
JT, I love you already. You keep us on the straight and narrow, and it's great to have your company. Thanks for being with us here on day 1 of 3 of the Community Cup. As Simic Sky Swallower turns itself sideways, that's a lot of S's, in for 6. Mole Drifter, is it going to get in the way? Even if it does, the big T word, one of the best keywords in Magic, trample, means Max is still going to lose half his life right here, unless he has something very peculiar to do with 1 black mana. Let's see what he comes up with.
He came up with take 6. Seems like a reasonable conclusion. Now, I will note that Max is sitting at a little under 5 minutes, where Smitty's at a very, very comfortable 12. I was mentioning a minute ago that Smitty said, you know, he said he thinks he plays a little too quickly sometimes. But that also is a benefit on Magic Online, where he's got a huge clock cushion here and can really, like, I wouldn't be surprised if Conley and 5 other people are huddled around Smitty's screen right now.
Yeah. So
Smitty does not play this slow. He would have cast 3 spells by now and shipped it back if it was just him. So he's definitely receiving some type of guidance, I would say. This is going to be important as well. I think, Rich, I think what you said made a lot of sense about, you know, the way that Max has played these last few turns, him not having the upheaval. You know, one of the downsides to using Garrick to draw the 6 cards that turn is that you're left with 8. He should be able to play 1 to 2 spells here to get him so he's not discarding. But you know, if you fill up your entire hand and get upheavaled,
and there you see
pitching them anyway.
on your screen a ton of WotC folk on the left, a ton of Community Cup folk. It looks like Neil Talbot is round, Conley is round, Smitty as well.
All right, so they just made their decision, and you see Conley run back to his match as we flash over.
It's fantastic, this team stuff. Garrick Wildspeed.
Hey, another Garrick. So this is interesting. We get the thumbs up from Billy Moreno as he walks by. He must not have ran into the clock that time.
Yeah.
Good for him. All right, so Garrick pluses, untaps some stuff, and he's going to drop what looks like to be a 5 mana spell here. What is it going to be? Did they put Void Wielder in the cube? That'd be pretty sweet.
I do not believe it's. If you check on Cover It Live, there is a list of the cards that have gone into this version of the cube from Return to Ravnica. I don't remember seeing Void Wielder, but then it was some hours ago.
So he's still thinking, and it looks like Smitty, I mean, having 7 cards in hand, all right, he's going to play Primal Command. He is going to gain 7 life, and I think he just put a land. He put something on top of Max's library, I believe. He just put 1 mirror token. He just killed a mirror token.
Max had 8. Smitty
oh, no, I'm sorry.
had
He
a
did
huge
not.
24.
Okay, so what he did is he put a swamp on top of Max's hand. That's going to blank a draw step. It's going to keep him 1 step away from an upheaval or a big wrath effect. And he used Repeal, just paid the blue mana, to return 1 mirror token and draw a card. All right, so Mirror Battlesphere, Mole Drifter are both going to fight. Now, this is an interesting spot because Max has to leave at least 1 mirror token back unless he comes up with a follow-up play, which he does leave the 1 token back. And he redirects the 2 damage to Garrick. It looks like Mole Drifter is battling Garrick, and the Mirror Battlesphere is going to hit Smitty for 6. So Garrick should be dead here. You got to wonder if Smitty maybe should have waited to play that Repeal for 0, because if Max gets a little greedy.
Here comes
Ooh.
Trade Wind Rider.
Trade Wind Rider right now. So if Smitty has the ability to get rid of a mirror, then he can represent lethal. And the Trade Wind Rider would just then block a beast. So Smitty's he's not winning this turn unless he can get both of those creatures off. All right, he's got 6 cards in hand. He's got 4, 5, 6, 7. He's got 9 mana, and he's going to attack with both.
Okay, so what do you got, Max?
So Max blocks the Trade Wind Rider.
Bounces off the beast.
And they bounce.
Takes 6. He goes to 2.
So what's your follow-up play, Smitty? Now, in these colors, we know he's not doing direct damage here, so that's not in the books. It's just a question of what does he have to follow up here?
Well, he just wants to stay alive because the Sky Swallower has trample, so...
Yeah, but it's still not lethal next turn.
It's
Oh, he is going to
route.
play Route.
Boom. Pick it all up. Put him
Wow,
in the bin.
I did not see that coming.
And then...
What's the follow-up play?
And a
does it
follow-up
have
for
2
4
power?
mana.
It's
Thrun.
Thrun.
Wow.
And
that
it
was
can't
a
be
turn.
countered. That was a great
High five
turn.
for Smitty.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
very
Good
well played.
job.
That was really good. And he concedes.
Game, set, and match to Smitty. Well done indeed.
So Smitty fully recovers from that devastating upheaval that we saw from against him earlier.
Oh, that's a beating. Well done. By the way, I can confirm the Void Wielder is not in the cube. It did not make it in this time around. Max McCall over on the far side, just still staring at the screen and going, what happened there?
All right, we're joining back here at the Highlander John fight here. John Laux versus John Hickey.
Those guys are still going?
They are.
Okay.
So what we have here is it's got to be game 3. We have John Laux a little under 5 minutes on the clock, so he's fine. He's got plenty of time with John Hickey sitting at 5 life. Laux is sitting at 10, and there's 2 bird tokens. Now, John Laux just resolved Consecrated Sphinx, and it's just triggered. So he is going to be in a position to just bury Wizards John in card advantage here. Unless, Honor of the Pure is not going to be good enough here. In fact, it just doesn't do anything. Currently, he's got 2 cards in hand. All right. We're going to see if he's going to fight here. He does not. Pass the turn back.
So.
And John gets to untap with Consecrated Sphinx, Knight of Infamy.
Yeah, and with
5
John at 5
cards in hand. Just went down to 4 after a land drop.
So, in we come. Protection from white. Huge flyer. 2/2/2 flyers, neither of which together are enough, even with the Honor of the Pure going on.
Yeah, and he had to block one of them. Now the Knight of Infamy is lethal all by itself. And John has really no incentive to commit anything more to the board, although he also has almost no downside to doing it as he's getting 2 cards back every turn.
Yeah.
So you might as well create one more lethal creature. All right, John Laux is poised to be the last one standing in the Highlander John match here. Geist of St. Traft, not a great play, not a great creature in this particular spot.
This is just about over. We can tell you, Geist of St. Traft comes down.
I mean, I guess he could go Geist of St. Traft into Wrath of God, but that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, now would it? All right, John Laux has lethal on the table. He plays Agony War pre-combat. This means that that John Hickey has to kill 2 creatures with the 5 untapped white sources that he has. John piles in with the entire team, and this
has
should
to be
it.
over.
And remember, the Knight of Infamy as well
Pro-white
is actually not lethal, which is kind of interesting.
There you go.
But that's the
game.
game. There
Game,
can
set,
be
match.
only one, and it happens to be Laux.
Do we have any matches still outstanding? Let's take a peek. We're going to bring a guest in any case to join you, Marshall.
Okay. Yep, we do have one. It looks like
Okay.
yeah, Bubba versus Worth is still
Awesome.
happening.
So let's have the community talking about the community. I give you the one, the only, Smitty.
All right,
Hang
bring
on.
him in. All right, so All right, so we're going to be joining the board state here with Worth versus Bubba. I'm going to try to find out exactly what the game totals are. All right, we're getting Smitty all mic'd up. Well, hello, Jesse.
How's it going?
Welcome to the booth, buddy. Nice
Thank
work.
you.
We just watched your match.
Yes.
You had a rather devastating thing happen to you in game one with that upheaval.
That was upheaval's a pretty rough card.
That
yeah.
was ridiculous.
That was game over.
And that was game over, right?
But I kept stringing it out a little bit because I was actually watching the clock, and I knew he's a control deck, especially blue-black, so I was going to maybe play the time if it came down to it.
It's a smart move. And then you were able to equalize with him and then finish him off in that last one in impressive fashion.
Yeah.
All right, why don't you join me
Absolutely.
as we watch? So what we're doing is we're catching up with Worth Wolpert on the top there versus Bubba, your teammate on the bottom.
Yep.
They are sitting at 1-1. They're in game 3 right now, and Bubba looks like he's in extremely rough shape. He's got 2 cards in hand, sitting at 2 life. He needs a Wrath effect here.
He's got to. And you know what? I'm not even sure if he has one, to be honest. Oh, wait, I do remember he has one.
Which one does he have?
I believe he has a Day of Judgment. It's in the yard. Never mind. Wrath of God.
And it looks like he has scooped.
Looks like a scoop face.
It feels like Worth won that one. Let me see if there's any more matches going. John Laux is done. Jackie Lee looks like she might still be in hers. Let's switch over here to this. She is playing against Jason Rademacher. And on the bottom of the screen, we see Jackie Lee with a Chroma Angel of Fury on the battlefield. That looks pretty good. Attacking for 6 into Jason. He's sitting at 9, and he's got 2 squirrel tokens, but one of them has a Jitte with 2 counters on it. There's also a Tangle Wire in play, which this is a little bit late for a Tangle Wire, but Jackie does have 6 cards in hand and apparently can't cast them, so she's just trying to rely on a Chroma here to get there.
Pulling out a win here would be good for her. Her draft deck wasn't the best.
Yeah, she's. I don't know how. Do you think she was unhappy with it?
Yeah, she is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so we are on the attack step here for Jackie.
She's got him at 9.
She might not be at. It looks like she's thinking, although this is just the attack step. So there it goes. All right. So she battles in, and I'm assuming that there's going to be no blocks as Jason looks like he's tapped out, and he's going to fall to 3. Now, she could have lethal in hand, right?
It's possible, yeah. I don't know. I haven't looked at her deck too closely, but yeah, I mean, that's got to be her game plan, right? Just burn it out right here. Although
well, I mean, she's at 19.
Right, yeah. But, I mean, Jit can save him here, so.
Yeah, so the burn. So if she just has something like a lightning bolt, that's not going to get it done.
Right.
All right.
She's
so
in kind of a tight spot because of that Jit. Either way, I think.
Maybe. Oh, she's got Searing Blaze, and she's going to be targeting the creature with Jitte on it, and of course, she's going to be targeting Jason, but the creature is going to take a hit here. Now he's got to decide what he wants to do. He's very likely going. Well, he's got to gain 2 life here, right?
It has to.
Yeah, because otherwise he's dead. Assuming that she's played a land. We came in the middle of combat, but I'm going to assume that she's played a land here. And if that's the case, then he's got to gain the life to stay alive. Now he decides to use. He's got 2 counters, so he can do that.
Yeah. And
he does. No. Oh, so she actually she had not got landfall that turn.
Interesting play.
All right. I see that there's a Lotus Bloom somewhere. Let's take a look. All right, so Jackie suspends a Lotus Bloom on turn 1,000, so that's not, not what you want to be doing.
No.
Now, the abilities for the Tangle Wire are going to stack. If you guys haven't played against this card, it's pretty interesting. It's got Fading Force, so it sticks around for about 4 turns. It's actually more like 5. And at the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player taps an untapped artifact, creature, or land he or she controls for each of these. Now, the interesting part about playing Tangle Wire is that there's 2 triggers during the upkeep. You can take the counter away and then do it on your turn, and you can also tap the Tangle Wire as part of the ability. So you're tapping way fewer permanents than your opponent.
Way fewer, yeah, absolutely.
Now, Jason's in a tough spot here, though, right, Smitty? I mean, he's sitting there with 2 squirrel tokens, one with a Jitte on it, and he's facing down a massive Achroma here.
Jitte feels like the card that's going to win this game, though. I don't know. I feel like Jackie's behind at this point just
Do
because
you
of
really?
the Jitte. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know.
I mean, doesn't he have lethal right here? 6 damage. He can gain 4. I guess it's got 2 counters on it. It's got 3. Never mind.
Yeah.
So he could still be alive, although I don't know that he can race it long term. He's only gaining 4 per. Diregraph Ghoul is his last card in hand, and that's not the best. Now, I do agree with what you're saying for sure, though. What?
Wow.
He just put a counter on a Chroma and another one.
What? It's going for the. He had 3. So, wait.
No, he's going to mortar pod
it.
He's going to mortar pod a Chroma out with these squirrel tokens and leave himself.
Does he?
Yeah, so I just heard a mumblings from the one and only rules manager Matt Tabak that says the plan is to kill a Chroma. I think that's a perfectly reasonable plan here, although Jackie getting to untap with 4 cards in hand versus 0 for Jason is not going to be a boon, although the Tangle Wire is still locking down now half of Jackie's available mana base.
I mean, if she has the burn card, though, it's game over right here.
That's true.
The Jit was preventing that. It's going to be...
And it looks like she's left 4 mana up. This could also be Hero of Oxid Ridge. Many, many things. Now, we see the
Lotus Bloom.
The Lotus Bloom is ticking down. It's still got a couple of counters on it,
And
though.
it's
And
the
there's
Slag
a Slag
Storm.
Storm to players.
Community!
And the community takes down the game with Jackie finishing with the burn spell that you and I just talked about, Smitty. I think that was the last match out there.
Yep.